Guten Tag, and hello and welcome to an episode of Gary's Graveyard Ramblings. I had to think what it was called there for a minute because it's been a while. I mean, this is, I think, episode 34. I'm probably wrong. Oh, look, Mr. Mole's been out. Did you know, incidentally, that apparently this is good earth? If Moley has made a hill like that, like those over there as well, you should scoop up the earth, put it on your flower beds, and hey, bingo, you've got the top quality topsoil. But anyway, I digress. As you can see, we're going round to my usual spot, past 1760, and Count Dracula over there, the Brides of Dracula. It's lovely to be back, actually. It feels like it's been an age. You know, because the muse just hasn't been with me. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Owl. How are you? And to the wealthy concrete bunker over there. And of course, I'm going to bivouac by my old friend, Mr. John Gilbert. There he is. Before I say hello. My goodness me, it's been a while. Actually, just between you and me, because I feel we do know each other well enough for me to confess. If I'd been a member of the other Godshot Brigade, not this one, because this is C of E. This is the one that everybody says they belong to when they're not sure. But if I'd belonged to the papal one, I could have gone in, you see, behind the little velvet curtain in the sort of booth and confessed to having done a couple of these and then scrapped them because they were crappy. So I thought, no, you deserve, viewer, because this is the world's least watched video blog, you deserve better, quite frankly. And my Jove, you're going to get it today. So what's caused this? Well, last night I was out for a kebab with an artist friend of mine, my favourite artist, Andy Viner. Do check out his paintings, they're marvellous. And he's very professional, almost gallery quality. In fact, frankly, in my collection of Viners, I'm very seriously thinking about contacting the Wildebeest Institute to have them verified. Because I know I've got so many of them that they're going to have to come to me to get them verified QED. I don't know what that means. I was out when they did Latin. So what's happened in the meantime? Well, I got retired, as you know, because I banged on about it before. That was about a month ago, and it's been superb. I've done trips like you wouldn't imagine. I've done Lewis, I've done Hastings, I've done Eastbourne, I've done Nat London. You name it, I've been there. And what else has happened? Oh, the Olympics. I did do an abandoned, bit sweaty there because it's hot today, an abandoned graveyard rambling about the Olympics. But I lost my thread halfway through it and I couldn't be arsehole to edit it because unlike professional video bloggers, I try not to edit this one. I just go into the graveyard and do it because basically this is where comedians, actors, what have you, go to die. And I've done that on here many times. So I wasn't interested. I did watch the opening ceremony and I did crit it. Now you know me. Look, you know me. I love the French and I love Paris. I used to live there years ago, and here's picture evidence of me in the Tuileries having a jardin on your screen almost immediately, practically now. And so I felt a bit mean about saying what a mess it was, because it was a bit of a mess. It was a bit like an Animal House movie, a bit like a failed Carry On. It was a bit, and there's been a few of them, it just didn't gel for me. It was too wet. And of course, that wasn't their fault. But if they'd had it in the stadium, they could have drawn the curtains, pulled the roof over, done something a bit Wimbledon with it. But they didn't. And as a consequence, it was all a bit of a soggy, damp mess. There was the rider of the apocalypse on a sort of surfboard thing riding along the Seine. La Seine. And then there were a load of drag queens, and then there was Marie Antoinette in a wedding cake frock with her head chopped off. Now, actually, historically, of course, this is totally wrong. She didn't go to the guillotine with, her finery on. I think she went en plein air, as they say in French. So that was a bit... and there was a severe lack of Grace Jones for my liking. That whole ceremony could have been upped in scale and temperament by simply putting in Grace Jones doing a selection of hits from nightclubbing. Then it would have been a tremendous hit, and I would have stayed with it. As it happened, I drifted and started playing Candy Crush. So it wasn't really very good, and it reminded me of my lifetime's loathing of sport, actually, which stems, for those of you that have read my book, which I'm always droning on about, but I have a lifelong loathing of sport. Thank you to my sadistic sports master, Jock Petty, whose sole achievement in the 5 years that I did, or that I was forced to do games in my secondary school, was to leave me with a lifelong loathing of sport. That's quite an achievement for a teacher, don't you think? So I couldn't be asked with it, and I think I'll only be asked with the Olympics if they start upping the ante a bit and bringing some sports in, which would be of interest to me. As it happens, the only development that I've heard of that are going to be with the potential seizing of power in the US of A by the Great Thicktator would be formation women's goose-stepping, at which the US, North Korea, China, Russia, places like that will excel in once Trump takes power. And you notice I said Trump there, but I can't help but think his surname is so difficult to pronounce, don't you find? How do you pronounce it? I mean, do you pronounce it Trump, Trumpa, Champ? It's a very difficult name. I just can't fathom out how to pronounce his name. See where I'm going with that one? Bit obvious, but we live in hope. It might not happen. We have faith in Harris and Waltz. Is it Waltz? To rescue the situation before he brushes them away and seizes power anyway. Which is funny because I'm off next week to New York City for a short breakaway, quickly before he gets back in, and and it becomes a dictatorship, because I don't want to go there after that. And and that reminded me, funnily enough, as I horrify my friends over in the across the pond with my American accent, and casting directors, please note that I do other accents, not just American, like Kenneth Williams out of Carry On Cowboy. So I do other accent versions of it, but my New York one is mainly based on my love of the Hamilton Bohammond disco hit of the 70s, Disco Stomp. And the bit that I always loved was the bit about 2/3 of the way through, as he's announcing a variation of US cities, famously. The one for New York City is where a bloke holds his nose and he goes, New York City. And I love that bit. So I do feel obliged when I'm there on Manhattan Island to go everywhere and do my New York accent with my nose held, going, hi, how are you in New York City? I think that'll get me far, don't you? If not arrested. So I did wonder, would it be possible to do a graveyard rambling from Manhattan? Maybe Brooklyn? I don't know. Do you think? I'll try. I'll have a scout around and see what's there, because you never know, do you? Although I don't really want to get on the wrong side of anybody when I'm over there, because that's all I'm going to say for the minute, because I'm girding myself. I've got to go home and pack. I've got to pack my smalls and prepare myself for the BA flight to JFK next week. In the meantime, look after yourselves, watch what you're doing, and remember the New York accent. Hold your nose now. That's the way to do it. And I shall see you all when I get back. Until then, salute.
Oh, how puerile can you get?